I have lived in this area in the 35th LD my whole life. My family moved here from Kansas in the 30s, so we live on the same homestead, the same piece of property since the 1930s. My husband worked for Ross Perot for EDS as a Navy contractor. My dad was in the Navy. My parents worked at the shipyard. I have been a teacher in Kitsap County my whole life for the last 40 years. So I feel that I really understand and know the background of our area, but also the needs through working with families, especially. You know, healthcare, affordable healthcare, good education, job opportunities. All those things are really, really important to the people here in the 35th. And we have a combination of many different things. We have the Kitsap County, the 35th part of Kitsap County, and we have a lot of military workers, Navy and shipyard. Then we have all of Mason, and I had two uncles that were loggers here in Mason County, so I understand the change that has occurred in the last 40, 50 years here in Mason County. And then of course we have a lot of state workers in Thurston County, so it includes all three of those counties.
In the Senate, experience really matters, and seniority really matters. So for example, I'm one of the budget negotiators, the only 4 people that negotiate our state transportation budget. And you see outside what's going on. There's a lot of road work and sewer work here in Shelton, and that was in our budget. And the residents here and the businesses are not paying for that. It's being paid by the state. So having experience and clout in Olympia really matters. And my opponent would be a foot soldier for the Seattle Democrats. And the Seattle Democrats don't care about the 35th district. I do. I was born right here in Shelton. I've lived here nearly all my life. And I care about our community, and you can see the results.
What's at stake is the same kind of leadership that has been going on for the last 27, 28 years. And I think it's time for change. I think people are looking for that. They want new opportunities to express themselves. They want a new listening ear, someone that's going to listen to their issues and their problems and act upon them.
If I should lose, the Seattle Democrats will take all the money. It will funnel to Seattle for the tunnel and other big projects that they have. And their social agenda will gain clout. The rural communities will suffer, and the 35th district is the most rural district in the state of Washington. The only incorporated city wholly within the district is Shelton. So most of us live in the countryside. We have a septic tank, a drain field, a well. We're not the city. And there is an insatiable demand for dollars, and it will all move towards Seattle and Tacoma if I'm not reelected, because I stand in their way.
Less than 1% is from out of state. And organizations like the Sierra Club, all the environmental groups have endorsed my campaign. And I also have endorsements from all of the Democratic leaders of the state. My opponent, even though he runs as a Democrat, does not have one Democratic endorsement. And I think the Republicans are a little wary of him, because why doesn't he just come out and say he's a Republican? And the Democrats don't want him because he caucuses with Republicans. So he's trying to kind of eat from both troughs, you know, and I don't have a lot of respect for that.
The major endorsements I have are from the small business community, for example. Sierra Pacific right here in town helped them with that new mill get started, over north of $1 million in investment here in Sheldon. And when they had their dedication the other day, they singled me out for my assistance in permitting and working with the governor's office to make sure that mill was built. The dental community, the dentists of Washington have endorsed me. The public school employees, those are the people that work in the lunchroom, drive the buses. They're not the teachers. They are what makes that school work, and they've endorsed me as well. So I could go down a list: the Carpenters Union, the plumbers and pipe fitters, the building trades people, the realtors. Many groups have endorsed me, a wide sector of groups that want good jobs in our community, want equality and transparency, and those people have endorsed me. The Hospital Association, Mason General here, is certainly a member of the Hospital Association, and all those hospitals in Olympia are as well. I help them in Olympia, I would, for example, look for state and federal dollars that will help our local hospital, because we don't have the volume that they do in Seattle and Tacoma to take care of our expenses. So what happened if our rural hospitals went away? What would happen if we didn't have enough dentists in our community? What would happen if we didn't have some subsidization so dentists could help our seniors?
Huge oil conglomerations and energy companies are trying to squash 1631. That always puts my antenna up a little bit. It's like, why? You know, what's really at stake for these companies? What are they really going to lose? And why are they so opposed to it? I think it's obvious that we have some really major climate issues that we have to address. You know, I believe that we are having a warming climate. I believe in science. And every major scientist, environmental science in the country, in the world, is saying this. So I do think that this initiative would be a good first step. One bad thing about it, though, that I'm concerned about for our area is that it may increase gas prices. And so that's something that I think, as any initiative, it's not set in stone. There's some flexibility in that. So I will fight, if it does pass, I will fight for reduced fees for people in rural communities.
I'm totally against that. The Public Board of Oversight would be handpicked by the governor. It would not represent our community. The idea that this is going to clean up pollution is ludicrous. It's going to raise the price of your fuel, your heating oil, or heating needs, your fuel at the pump is going to go up 14 cents a gallon. And why would citizens vote for a gas tax increase someday again for road improvements, on our safety improvements on our highways, if they were already paying 14, 16, 18, 20 cents a gallon more for this carbon initiative, which is not accountable. It cannot, the results are not accountable. And this, according to the initiative, this increase in the fuel costs will go on and on and on.
First of all, I just don't think we need any more taxes on anything related to our food, you know. So I'm just opposed to it, and I think it hurts once again the working folks and people in our community.
We don't have taxes on sales tax on groceries, as you know, but in the cities like Seattle, they have enacted a sugar tax for beverages and water. So it's interesting that their tax is bringing in much more than they ever thought it would, and they'll find a way to spend it. But they didn't put it on coffee, so it doesn't matter how much sugar you put in coffee, that's exempted. So why would the cities have this ability to put taxes on groceries? It doesn't mean that it would just stop with sugar flavored Coke and Pepsi Cola. It won't stop there.
I think that this initiative is in reaction to the terrible gun violence that, especially in the schools, and by young people, high school kids that are bringing in semi-automatic weapons and mowing down their classmates and teachers. So I think that if that weren't happening, this probably wouldn't even be on the ballot. So I think that once again, people are trying to find solutions, a way to halt this incredibly horrific situation. I have a student that goes, one of my own kids, I have 3 kids, my youngest one is going to Olympic College, and every day when she drives off to school, I worry, is she safe on a college campus? So I think this is a real concern for parents. I think that people that are responsible gun owners have nothing to fear with this, and I don't see how that can harm the situation at all. So I'm a proponent of this initiative, yes.
The reason is this takes away your Second Amendment rights. It takes away your right to keep and bear arms, as our founding fathers gave you that right. And it's very dangerous. It can expand. It will be expanded by the legislature if a liberal work continues there. And why should you criminalize self-defense? There are provisions in this initiative that would hold you responsible if somebody breaks into your house, takes your firearm, and commits a crime with it. That is ridiculous. I
am not so sure that this bill is a good idea. number one, our police and our sheriffs, they put themselves at risk all the time. And I think that it's a very tricky situation to put police up as actually that could be legally prosecuted for their actions when they were trying to defend themselves or others around them. So I am not really a proponent of 940. I think that we can come up with better solutions, and I don't like the fact that every law enforcement agency in the state says no on this. I think that we have to find something that is more equitable, that both law enforcement and the public can agree on.
Well, this was a fairly complicated initiative, and do not vote for it, please. What it does is it really starts to criminalize our police force, our safety officers. They receive excellent training and do a job that many people would not do. If this initiative passes, I'm worried that people won't go into law enforcement because they can be held responsible, personally responsible for things that they have no control over. When someone comes at them with a weapon, they have to make a split-second decision. And this is a group of people, a couple families basically, and others, criminal defense lawyers as well, trying to pass an initiative that would hold them accountable for something that they have to react in a split second. Bad cops are bad cops, and the law enforcement community wants to get rid of bad cops. But this initiative will not help. Please vote no.